Good morning, everybody. I am presenting an ongoing research that we are doing. It's a research made by two types of people. One from people from pedagogy and some people from mathematics, computer science. It was improved by the CIRD, which improved these connections, and so it's important that we have such kind of thing. At the moment we have done a beta study, namely we are trying to have a larger scale investigation, but I'll present you what we have got at the moment from this smaller investigation. And research, here you see the persons involved in the research, and here are the aims of the research. To investigate teachers' beliefs regarding the knowledge and skills investigated by INVALSI, to investigate the closeness between INVALSI mathematics test and mathematics teaching and learning processes in the classroom, in particular didactic practices, as they are concretely pursued by the teachers. Specifically, we have two levels of understanding. Level one, which are the tools the teacher concretely use to read and interpret the INVALSI tests and data. Level two, which tools are available to researchers in order to identify possible effects of the INVALSI tests on the mathematics education in our schools, which are two different issues. Of course, they are connected. And the general aim is to identify training needs at national level and to propose guidelines for the improvement of mathematics practices concerning the use of INVALSI tests. The tool for our research is a questionnaire. It consists of two areas of variables, one specifically for mathematics education, and the other one for the aspects of general education, which reflects the two sides, the two components of the research team. Questions are prepared on teachers' ability to read INVALSI data, as well as questions referring to constructs aimed at detecting more general teacher attitudes than how they interpret or describe their teaching practices. The mathematics education variables are aimed at detecting how much the contents of mathematical abilities investigated with the INVALSI test are more or less close to daily personal teaching practices, lived as coherent with the national guidelines, recognized or not, coherent with the intentions of INVALSI, and deemed useful for influencing innovating personal teaching practices. I'll give you some examples in order to focus what we mean, possibly. Here they are. 3 examples from the questionnaire. First item, the items are all from INVALSI tests. Here is the first item, decimal. To which number do they correspond? 12 tenths, 7 tenths, and 2 thousandths. 4 possible answers. Here are the results we present in the questionnaire. The teachers are presented with such results, and you see the results. There is a scale from very easy, 1, to very difficult, 10, in a scale of this. And these are the results you can see, and the absolute frequency is there. And our comment is that the percentage of correct answers at national level is 33%, very low percentage, being such kind of test. The perception of the difficulty of the question by teachers is very different from the national trend. Looking at the cumulative probability, we know that until level 5, we reach 70% of judgment by the teachers. So we have some questions for that. What are the reasons why we have such an answer? Failure to perceive the degree of difficulty of a question, possibly. Could we also investigate this non-correspondence between perceived difficulty and national difficulty in other questions? In the trial, it is the only item in which we do not make explicit the percentage of correct answers. So the teacher didn't know which were the result from the national INVALSI item. So, as a remark, this fake perception of the difficulty level of the item poses an interesting question to investigate. To what extent is this fake perception connected with the fact that the item is one of those considered most suitable for assessing learning and one of the most commonly used in evaluation tests? But we have such a result from that's some kind of contradiction. Second example, that's a very, I see some people who are smiling, so we love it also very much. And it's a ribbon bow. Alessandra buys a book at the supermarket. At home she prepares a package similar to this. How many centimeters of ribbon did she use in all, knowing that 30 centimeters was needed to make the bow? And here are the possible answers. The results, correct response rate at the national level, this was seen by the teachers. National level was only 14.7%. Why do you think the question was so difficult? Choose at most two of the following answers questions. So I go to the, you see there are two and third one, most common answer, which is the following. Well, the first one, which is almost 60% in the just relative frequency. Why? Because the students don't have enough capability of spatial visualization. That was the most chosen answer. The second one, because the students don't have done enough manipulative activities. And if you look down at that of the 16.44%, because they don't read the text with attention. Those are the most common answers. So almost 60% of teachers attribute a low percentage of correct answers at the national level to the fact that the students do not have sufficient spatial visualization capacity, and 33% to the fact that students have not done enough manipulative activities. You see A was chosen by 28%, B by 41%, so we have such sort of results. And so option A shows that the number 41 corresponds exactly. So that's another interpretation different from those put forward by the teachers. So the sum of numbers shown in the figure, 41 is 5 plus 15 plus 21. All the numbers in the figure are there. And option B corresponds to the sum of the numbers in the figure, so it's better to not forget anything. So put also the number in the text, which is 30, so it's 71. The causes of the difficulties are quite evident, and that did not correspond or correspond only partially to those recognized by the teachers. That's both a question, many questions. Lack of awareness of the causes of the error. Difficulties interpreting students' difficulties. Difficulty of teachers, of course, in understanding the goal of the question, but we had made explicit the correct answer, so it's not like the first example where it was not explicit. And moreover, this item is considered by teachers one of the least suitable for assessing learning and one of the questions less used in evaluation tests. That's what they think. Third and last example, cotton balls. To make 4 crochet tablecloths, the grandmother uses 6 cotton balls. and this is an open answer. How many balls at the same time must you use to prepare 20 tablecloths? Write how you found the answer. That was the item. And here's a gallery of answers by the students. So some answer from grade 5 students in primary school, and the question for the teachers is, how do you rate it? Before I did 6 minus 4, which is 2. After the 20, I did 2, and it came to me 22. Completely incorrect. So you see the answer of the teachers. But look at this and look particularly at the 4th D result. I'll comment in a moment. I multiply 6 balls for 4 placements, and I got 24. Completely incorrect. I multiply 6 balls for 20, that is 20 placement. Completely incorrect. And now, let's see here. That's interesting. Since to prepare 4 placement, we need 6 balls of yarn, so 2 more, just make up of for 20 placements plus 10. So, and here you see there is a sparse range of answers. That's very interesting. Different from here, for example, because the grandmother uses a bowl and a half to prepare a placement. So I did so. 20 times 1.5, which makes 30. In one corner of the sheet, there is the column, the multiplication, etc. And here it's completely correct. And here is another, because I made 20 plus 6 plus 4. That's all, okay. And completely incorrect. So the comment, one of the most interesting data is the D answers, answer of the teachers. It's recalled here, in which the strategy inherent to the correct answer, as well as using the mixed additive multiplicative model, does not make explicit all the steps. I think that here is an example, possibly, I don't know, for the last, the presentation before us, they distinguish between crystalline and fluid. I think this is more fluid, this answer, and so the teacher don't like it. While the teacher evaluate the first 3 answers incorrect, the fourth, the D answer is, there is a lot of confusion. Of course, something says it's correct, but something says it's not. So, question, why almost 40% of teachers do not evaluate D as correct? It is a mixed, something is not written there, but the strategy is there. Because not all the steps are made explicit, crystalline, fluid, or because they don't recognize it as a possible correct strategy. So, together with item 2, the ribbon bow, this item is considered by teacher to be the least suitable for assessing learning. And one of the questions is used in evaluation tests, which is strange. Consequent suggestion, we have some suggestion, but I'm skeptical about it. If we change the words, it may have some effect. Let's see. We'll see it in the large-scale investigation. This is the only one for which there is low coherence in the answer to the 2 final questions, the ones I saw you in the previous last, that we have always asked in each item. In fact, according to the given answers, the item is considered by far the most suitable for assessing students' learning, but is one of the less used in the assessment test, which sounds strange. Coherence is not there. Too fluid here, too fluid. So, some discussion, not so long because time is going. How much time left?
Just have 6 minutes.
Okay. So, the framework of the variables detected by the questionnaire and the first hypothesis about their correlation, that's what we are working about now. And we have, the questionnaire is divided into different parts, of course. And the first part, P, personal data professional position, variables, usual things. Then there is a first group of items. I'll tell you in a moment how many items for each of this part. The questionnaire concerns the first block. There are a lot of items here. Attitude towards mathematics INVALSI survey. And so we have divided it into different parts, namely the beliefs of the teacher, what the teacher believes. Beliefs of teacher are very important for teaching, for everything. And near the beliefs there are the practices of the teacher, what they say they are doing in their classrooms. So beliefs and practices. And there is the issue from the other side of the formative assessment, how much the assessment is formative. This part we have not yet, the right part, FA, we have not yet put the questions to the beta items. But we have, our plan is to put them. Then we are considering the second block. So the first one is attitudes towards mathematical INVALSI survey. The second one is the teacher professionalism with respect to the INVALSI survey. And we are divided into 3 blocks, this part. First one is knowing how can you read, you are able to read math INVALSI tests. And how do you interpret students' wrong answers? That's an important issue. We have seen that many contradictions come out from this, considering the interpretation of the wrong answer. It's a test for us as researchers, the way the teachers answer that. And here is an explosion of the R part, knowing how to read and interpret mathematics INVALSI items. We have 13 items here. The idea is to see how is the awareness of the validity of INVALSI items on and of the cognitive processes that they can generate. What kind of processes and how they are generated in connection with the national guidelines. I think that we can take your research on crystalline and fluid, and also the research of the first presentation will give us some suggestions for that, interesting suggestions for that. That's as a first explosion. And moreover, we have teacher declaration, what they say, what they write they are doing about their practices in comparison with INVALSI items. How much and with what assessment aims a teacher uses INVALSI items, which is difficult to ascertain. We have 8 items for that. So we have a part of the first P block. We have 2 main blocks, attitudes and investigation about teacher professionalism. So the idea, possibly, is to see which are the different, if they are, and we think that they are, there are differences between beliefs and knowledge and practices of teaching. That is a very important issue to ascertain. Here is the number of items, apart the formative assessment, which we have not yet, we have written, but we have not put in the questionnaire. We have given to the teachers for the beta test, and we see there we have 11, 30, 30, 13, 6, 8 items, and so it's a good, for us it's a good number. So the idea is that in next spring we will involve the many primary schools. It will be limited to, at the moment, to primary schools and the grade from 1 to 5 to have possibly a sample of a reliable sample of answers. So we hope that you will criticize, comment, give us suggestions, and all of these things are welcome, especially for our next step, which is the preparation of the final questionnaire. So, thank you so much.
Perfect.